Good evening and a warm welcome to the Rushcliffe Borough Council's meeting. I'd like to remind everyone that the meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. A recording of the meeting will be available afterwards on the Council's YouTube channel. In addition, under local authority executive arrangements, meetings and access to information, England Regulations 2012, other people may film, record, tweet, or blog from this meeting. The use of any such images or sound recordings is not under the Council's control. Any councillor who wishes to speak should raise their hand and your request will be noted. You'll be asked to speak in turn by me, and then you may turn on your microphone. Once you've finished speaking, would you please turn off your microphone? In respect of voting, when asked by me, councillors should raise their hand to indicate how they wish to vote. If a roll call is requested, councillors' names will be called out as previously. A councillor may raise a point of order or make a personal explanation at any time by raising their hand, and I will hear them immediately, and my ruling on the matter will be final. I would now like to invite Ola, Zova, which I understand means white ice, to give us a moment of reflection. Ola came to the UK having escaped Ukraine earlier in the year. Thank you, Ola.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I want to say that the question how we find to stay here is the most common what I hear from people. And the answer is obvious. We're really fine here. First of all, we are safe. When our family is staying under occupation, my parents, my husband's parents are still in an occupied city. We are here in a safe place, in a spectacular, so wonderful and beautiful village, Sutton Bonington, with so warm and welcome people who support us in all kinds of different ways. We live in a separate housing from our sponsors. They are renting house for us. And a few weeks ago, my twin sister arrived to stay with us. So we feel so safe in one hand, and in the other hand, we just got to cope with ourselves, not to think about what is going on at home. Because while here, so many opportunities are open to us. Our kids are studying in a British school. We couldn't even dream about it years ago, but now they do, and they do it quite successful. My husband is working since we arrived. Just next week he started to work. I started to work and I do work, and I found a better job now, and everything goes so good here. But the biggest challenge what is in front of us, we just got to learn to focus on here and now, and to see what is going on in front of us, and try not to think about our hometown, and trying to make it not to affect what is going here. And also, we don't like to be refugees. We would like to be equal members of society, and we do feel support from all kinds of levels to us. And the biggest, like, we're here for 6 months now, and when people ask me, so what can you say? All what I feel, all what I would like to say is my words of gratitude to all people who support us here in all kinds of ways. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, move to the agenda. Apologies for absence.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight we have apologies from Councillor Adair, Councillor Barney, Councillor Gaunt, Councillor Mason, Councillor Sims, Councillor Maureen Stockwood, Councillor Jen Walker and Councillor Gordon Wheeler. Thank you.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest? No? Item 3, to approve a correct record of the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 29th of September. Now, I understand that Councillor Brennan has an amendment to make, so I'll ask her to raise this now.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, a small amendment, please, on page 4 of the minutes, in reference to my response to the motion on the UNICEF Child-Friendly City. I'm quoted as saying that the council was currently looking into establishing a youth council for Rushcliffe. My recollection of what I said, confirmed, I think, by looking back at the recording, is that the council was exploring how young people could be encouraged to engage in the democratic process, which I knew had been an issue that Councillor Jones had previously raised and expressed a key interest in. If the minutes could be changed to reflect that, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brennan. Yes, we will record that and they will be altered. Do you wish me to sign them as they are now? Or
I think we've got an amendment we can put in, so we can do that afterwards, yeah.
so I can do that now.
We need to get them moved first, so.
Of course, yeah. Before I do that, of course, I need to ask Councillor Robinson to move the minutes.
Yes, I'm happy to move those minutes.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Brennan to second them.
Yes, thank you. I'll second those
Thank
minutes.
you very much. All in favour? Anyone against? No. No abstentions. Right. Okay. Thank you. And now we move to my announcements. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the Christmas carols. I'm sure you did. I could see you were all enjoying them. And weren't they wonderful? I mean, the little soloist was amazing. I've been encouraged to give you a good rundown of my events to date. So many events and places attended. A total of 50 so far, and I've 13 already in the diary for December, including carol services and light switch-ons. First of all, though, I would like to thank Ola for her moving moment of reflection. I'm sure our thoughts are very much with the people of Ukraine, who will be experiencing a very different Christmas this year. Whilst it is not one of my charities, I've been collecting donations for Ukraine, which is the chairman of the County Council's charity. I've put a collection bucket on the table at the back of the hall, which perhaps you'd help me fill. Well, this year has been a real eye-opener. Ken Clark, now Lord Clark of Nottingham, told me it would be an experience. He said I would learn so much about Rushcliffe and meet so many interesting people, and he certainly was not wrong. I sat for my portrait. This was drawn when I visited the West Bridgford Brownies, who are raising funds for the local food bank, which is such a welcome help to people in these challenging economic times. Of course, I switched on the Christmas lights in West Bridgford with low noise fireworks and festive fun. There must have been at least 3,000 happy smiling faces and lots of excited children looking forward this year to a full family Christmas. We were proud to have Mark Howard, the ITV voice celebrity, singing for us on Central Avenue. I hope you liked the remembrance wreaths, environmentally friendly, with laurel being a symbol of honour. I laid one at 3 churches in the borough, plus Kinelton War Memorial, and conducted a well-attended Armistice Day service on the croquet lawn in Central Avenue. I have to say I drove past the War Memorial in Radcliffe on Trent the other day, and our wreath was certainly the centrepiece. So thank you to all the residents who knitted or crocheted the lovely bright poppies. I was very touched to hear that residents in nursing homes were delighted to knit for us. It made them feel valued and needed, part of the community. In torrential rain, I met Princess Anne at a Riding for the Disabled event. Unfortunately, through the atrocious weather conditions, she was delayed an hour, which sadly curtailed her time for an informal chat and general walkabout. I handed on the travelling beacon at a U3A 40-year celebration in West Bridgford. I opened Eastleigh Sports Pavilion, where I met up with former Forest manager John McGovern again, having previously met him at the Premier League celebrations earlier in the year. What an enormous community effort went into the building of this lovely facility. £11,000 was raised by purchasing individual commemorative bricks for an ornamental wall. Well done, Eastleigh. Rudd Awards at Ruddington was an amazing event in the parish church, celebrating those people who go the extra mile for their community. Which leads me to the Rushcliffe Awards. Bigger and better again this year. However the team put it all together, I do not know. And so many people to honour for their community efforts to make life great in Rushcliffe. It was very moving to hear some of their stories and present Sam Perkins with the Pride of Rushcliffe Award for founding the charity Stand, raising awareness of motor neurons disease, from which he personally suffers. And Alicia Gadia, the 6-year-old climate change activist and mini ambassador for Cool Earth, who won our Young Person of the Year award. What a truly great place Rushcliffe is, and what great people. We also have to thank the business community and sponsors for their support too. I shall be visiting the staff who helped to deliver the services that Rushcliffe people so value. It will be an early start. I shall be down at the depot at 6:15 in the morning. I haven't told Neil yet. Then meeting our hard-working staff here at the arena and the West Bridgford Contact Centre. On Christmas Day, I shall be serving traditional Christmas lunch to some very hungry people at the Friary in West Bridgford. I've bought my Santa jumper. Then I shall go home for my own family Christmas. I now have an important future date for your diary. Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 is when I shall be doing a sponsored abseil for my charities. More information to come next year, but in the meantime, you can think whether you'd like to join me, suspended on the end of a rope. Finally, I have a copy of the historic proclamation I read to the residents of Rushcliffe when King Charles acceded to the throne following the sad death of Her late Majesty, framed and hung in the Mayor's parlour. You can all see it later together with my brownie portrait when you join me for a glass of festive fizz. Thank you. And now to item 5, the leaders' announcements.
I was just checking my diary, Madam Mayor, and the 14th of May, I'm washing my hair. Madam Mayor, and just first of all, like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And I'd particularly like to welcome Councillor Begum, who's with here today as opposition leader, making her debut in the chair, and looking forward to your speeches and your responses and retorts this evening. So, so welcome, and welcome everybody this evening. A few announcements to make. First of all, business. The budget workshops. As we know, it's a very difficult economic climate at the moment. So I'd just like to promote the budget workshops that we're having on Monday evening and also on Tuesday afternoon. Your input, shaping that budget right across parties is very, very important. So would actually please make every effort to join one of those sessions. I'd just like to update the Chamber on housing. I know it's very close to our heart. And we've had Councillor Upton, who's been fronting our negotiations with the JPAB meeting. So this is the allocation of housing. And I'm delighted at the moment we've got to a point of a preferred approach, which basically now will go to the government and the inspectors, which basically means that every individual council will be able to deliver their own housing numbers. And I'm delighted that we will not have to share any numbers from the city. As you know, this was an increasing threat. So obviously we're very pleased that we won't take the overspill from the city there. We have our own allocated sites. We've got more than enough to deliver, and we've got a very healthy safety buffer. And I'm also delighted that last year we delivered over 1,100 houses, many of which, of course, were affordable. I think that's a great testament to the authority. My next update, just about the Trent Bridge crossing, which obviously has been talked about a lot. Unfortunately, this has been pushed back. As we know, Nottingham City are actually fronting this. We were hoping that this would have been hitting our planning committees imminently, but now that looks like we'll be mid-2023, with build starting 24, opening 2025. I think this is an absolutely key asset, and it will be a fantastic facility to open up this side of the Trent. I'd also, Madam Mayor, if you bear with me, I'd just like to remind members just how important this spell is coming up for the council. As you're aware that we have the Freeport coming very shortly. Hopefully it will be approved in the next few months, be going forward for legislation. The East Midlands Development Corporation, as we know, will be taking shape with its new constitution, along with the LEP, the Local Enterprise Partnership, which has been an incredibly important funding body for the whole of the county, not just for Rushcliffe. We have devolution coming through, as you know, for the consultation. The outcomes for that will be going forward for legislation, hopefully in the new year. And also I mentioned the budget workshops as well. And these will have a very significant material impact on the authority over these next few months, creating what will be a new landscape for this authority. And of course, in May, we're going to be welcoming in this chamber many new councillors of all political, right across the political spectrum. And with them, they'll be bringing new ideas. And I think, Madam Mayor, it's important to highlight that with any change, with new landscape, it's important that the authority is flexible. It can adapt, it can adjust to this new landscape and the many new challenges. And I think it is now timely and in the absolute very best interests of Rushcliffe that we should be welcoming a new leader in May 2023. A new leader to bring fresh ideas, new styles, new eyes in a job that's reflecting the new era. So, Madam Mayor, consequently, I'd like to inform full council tonight that I will be standing down as leader of Rushcliffe Borough Council going into the new year. Obviously, I'll take advantage of speaking at the next full council in more detail, but for the record, Madam Mayor, I'd just like to recognise at this point the incredible teamwork, the commitment and professionalism of particularly my cabinet, the councillors and everybody in the chamber, and the wonderful work officers have done over this time. I've done this job for nearly 6 years, and in fact, I was surprised I'm the second longest serving leader in the whole of the county, currently serving in there. We all have a shelf life. I think it's mine. I think one of the great skills is learning when yours is, and it's time to go. But I say, it's a great testament, I think, to all this chamber and the huge amount of work's done to make Rushcliffe such an incredibly wonderful place. I've been very proud and privileged to do the job as leader, and I will continue to give 100% commitment, professionalism, dedication to the job in the remaining periods of my leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we move to the Chief Executive's announcements. No, she has no announcements. So we move on to item 7, citizens' questions. A citizen's question has been received from Mr. Richard Mackey. Mr. Mackey is not attending the meeting, so I will read out the question. The Rushcliffe Local Plan 2 removes some sites from the Green Belt, and this is confirmed in the latest Green Belt map. Has the Borough Council authority either to extend the size of the sites removed from the Green Belt or to remove new sites from the Green Belt? If so, what processes of public consultation and notification are required? Councillor Upton, I believe you are to respond.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The council has a legal authority to either add or remove land to the Rushcliffe Green Belt, but we can only do this as part of our review of our local development plan, which the government advises we should do every 5 years. Now, in preparing or reviewing our local plan, the council is required to undertake public consultation, and it does so in accordance with the Statement of Community Involvement. There are specific consultation stages throughout the preparation or revision of this plan. If, for example, somebody would like the boundary of part of the Greenbelt to be reviewed, they should write to the council at the relevant consultation stage. So finally, individuals and organisations can register to be told of future consultation stages for our local development plan. I think that answers the question, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 8, petitions. We've not received any petitions, so we move to item 9, polling districts and polling places review. Councillor Robinson to move.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a item required in the Electoral Registration Administration Act of 2013, where we actually review the arrangements for voting, especially under the change that have been made in the Local Boundary Commission. The key objective of this is making sure that electors have got facilities to vote, and obviously there's full access for the disabled as well. Those proposals went out for consultation in September and October, and we seek feedback from and views from the parish town councils, obviously councillors in the chamber, and the returning officer in Newark, because obviously the overlap with the Newark district there as well. The consultation comments are actually included there in Appendix 1, came back, and the actual proposal schedule there is in Appendix 2. I'd just like to draw members' attention that there was a query to do with Normanton on the Wolds there in terms of their use of Plumtree. The Chief Executive actually met the Chairman of Normanton on the Wolds Parish Council this week, and we hope that there has been a compromise that's been sought that will go back to the Parish Council, and as I say, we're hopeful that there'll be a successful resolution of that in using the two different facilities there in Plumtree. So I'd like to move those recommendations. I'll set there on page 23, items 2, A, B and C. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Edavine, I believe you wish to second.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to second the recommendation and reserve the right to speak.
Thank you. We'll move to discussions. Councillor Begum.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Simon, for making me feel welcome at the speaking. And it's quite sad that you're leaving because I enjoyed the debates.
Not so sad.
Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. And I'd like to thank all the officers for all the hard work that they've put in for these changes. And the Labour Group welcomes the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jones.
Madam Mayor, firstly, I'd like to join the comments about the community awards. That the residents, the groups, the individuals were just amazing, but the staff who put the effort in were just incredible. I mean, it was an amazing event. I'd also like to pay homage to the service of the leader. And I noted in his speech at the community awards that he said he was humble. And I'm just wondering whether it's getting to him. But it's nice you're feeling humble from time to time, and I hope you enjoy it more often. As to the item in question, what's clear is the amount of work that has to go into sorting out these polling districts. I think there's something like 71 polling stations in that document. Yeah. And I don't think the public ever really understand the amount of effort that goes into organising that. So again, thanks to the staff. No thanks to the government for complicating it by requiring photo IDs and all sorts of things that are all right for oldies like us, but no good for young people. And when there's no evidence of fraud, just increasing expenditure on local authorities. I just think that's appalling. But we're very much be supporting this motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Mallender.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you both, Madam Mayor and also Councillor Robinson, for your information about all the wonderful things that have been happening. And well, I'll be sorry to see you go, and we'll be interested to see who will take your place, Councillor Robinson. I'm sure the debate will continue to be as interesting as it always has been. I just, this item, yes, thank you for all the very hard work that's been done. I don't really know about other polling districts, but I certainly know that when the feedback took place from Councillor Mallender and my own ward, then the comments that were made were taken into account to make it as easy as possible it is for people to vote. And that is the important thing, because some people are very easily put off. And we do want to have a proper democracy with everyone turning out. And I fully agree with Councillor Jones's comments that that's not helped by the ID situation for almost non-existent fraud. So yeah, we will certainly be supporting the polling district review. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mallender. Councillor Thomas. I can't see you. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And it's very interesting to see that you'll be celebrating Councillor Robinson's departure as leaving by jumping off a building a week later. Yes, we support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Adevine, do you wish to respond? No. Councillor Robinson.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for your kind comments. I'd just also like to say a big thank you to all the staff who've done this. I was going to say at the end, it's an incredible amount of work that's been gone on with these polling districts. People just turn up and vote, and they don't realise the actual effort that goes in, and not just on the day itself, the preparation for this paper as well, and to make sure the accessibility, because it is the fundamental of democracy that we get people out to vote, and this is a huge part of that jigsaw. So I'd like to say a big thank you, Gav, for all your team actually doing that, and thank you for all your support on this.
All in favour? I don't think there's anyone against. No abstentions. I declare the vote carried. Right, so we now move to item 10, renewal of public space protection order, general ASB, antisocial behaviour. Councillor Inglis to move.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, this meeting is quite timely to renew our PSPO because it's actually due to expire tomorrow because it's got 3-year validity. So it's the Antisocial Behaviour, Crime and Policing Act of 2014, which does give us the powers for local authorities to introduce public space protection orders to address antisocial behaviour in public places. On item 4.5, I was just going to make this quote. It's a straight lift from it, really. PSPOs are intended to deal with a particular nuisance or problem in a particular area that is detrimental to the local community and their quality of life by imposing conditions on the use of that area which apply to everyone. They are designed to ensure that a law-abiding majority can use and enjoy public space safe from antisocial behaviour, and that's the basis of the PSPO. But this report seeks approval to amend and renew the PSPO, something that was supported by this council at its last review in 2020 for the antisocial behaviour challenges around West Bridgford. So owing to the changes in law and the latest crime trends, it is considered necessary to slightly amend the existing PSPO by reviewing the order, the restrictions on street drinking, removing the existing prohibition on sleeping outdoors, and to include certain additional restrictions and prohibitions as specified in paragraph 4.3. The areas concerned are detailed in the documents. They really remain the same as the previous one, with the addition of the Lyme Park and Broadstone Close ponds in Compton Acres, as set out in Appendix 4. And they're included because of the antisocial behaviour we had during the summer and last year. So to utilise the powers, the council must satisfy on reasonable grounds that activities carried out in a public space will have or are likely to have a detrimental effect on quality of life to those in the locality, are persistent or continuing in nature, they are unreasonable and justify the restrictions imposed. So it is proposed to remove the prohibition order for outdoor sleeping, owing to the changes in the legal landscape, specifically with the repealing of the Vagrancy Act. We still face other antisocial behaviours, which the proposed PSPO will seek to control based on the current complaints and incidents, as evidenced in the 35 reported incidents, and that there is needed to be 9 dispersal orders put into place recently. The 5 target areas, they're outlined in 4.3. I'll just run through them. So it's refusal to stop drinking or hand over the containers, refusal to remove any items left or believed to be left on land when required to do so by an authorised officer, refusal to leave the location specified when given a direction to do so by an authorised officer, subject to conditions of use, and then begging, spitting, urinating or defecating on land or street furniture. Public support was overwhelming from the responses to the consultation period, and these have been requested by Inspector Lawton, who leads our neighbourhood policing team, and they're all fully endorsed by him and his team, along with the Crime Commissioner. So I do feel satisfied that these changes are relevant to the Act, they're proportionate and current. So I trust that I'll have everyone's support for the renewed PSPO as it is needed. It is not just an enforcement tool, but a strong deterrent in a preventative way, and provides officers a means of dealing with offenders quickly and efficiently with direction and advice, as with the 4E's policy, which is clear from the fact that no fixed penalties have needed to be issued so far. It is also worth mentioning that the recent Safer Streets funding allocation to the Trent Bridge ward has enabled us to provide extra officers, specifically targeting ASB and crime, and to fund redeployable CCTV cameras. I do not foresee any negativity, so therefore support and recommend, as in 2 and 9 of the report, that the amended Public Space Protection Order, General ASB, as set out in Appendix 1, be approved and to take effect on the 2nd of December 2022. Thank you.
Councillor Cotty.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very happy to endorse this proposal to update and amend the current PSPO for the reasons in the report, and also taking what Councillor Inglis has just said. It is important that we're able to effectively deal with any antisocial behaviour which spoils the enjoyment of the majority who choose to use our great public areas, whether that be for shopping, business or socialising for residents, and many visitors to our internationally known sporting venues. We do need to portray a positive image that ASB will not be tolerated in Rushcliffe, and that these public areas are both attractive and pleasing areas to spend time in. And this PSPO goes a long way to ensure that is the case. I therefore am happy to recommend, second this recommendation as in paragraph 9. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cotty. Move to some discussion. Councillor Bansal, I believe, is going to respond for your party.
That's right. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to start by saying what a great job Councillor Bagan's doing tonight as stepping in as leader. We will vote for the proposed changes. I agree. Safety of our residents is a priority. Antisocial behaviour, such as urinating in public places, is totally not acceptable. Fully agree. With that in mind, and knowing that the PSPO is a last resort, let's also be aware that mental health issues are on the rise as well. There are people who need mental health support more than anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bansal. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Of course, another form of antisocial behaviour is people speeding in vehicles. But of course, this is not within the terms of this public safety protection orders. But we're very pleased that it will continue to apply, particularly to the parks. And in the case nearest to my heart is Sharp Hill Wood, which is actually quite difficult to police, but where there is plenty of drinking from time to time. I'm also quite pleased that the street sleeping or the homeless bit has been removed for the reasons you've explained. So we're happy to support this item.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Mallender?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, also happy to support this. I think the updates are useful. Fortunately, it is primarily sort of a really good place to live in Rushcliffe. So fortunately, we don't get a huge number of incidents, but we do get them from time to time in all our wards in various manners. Pleased to see that it includes covering the escape park in the area of the Hook. It's a couple of years since me and Sue had a visit down there with the community safety project officer, Judith. Minor problems, quickly resolved. I'm very happy to support this continuing order. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mallender. Councillor Thomas? Oh, don't. If it's easier,
Yes, I can, so that's all right. Yes, we support the motion. I think like to see more emphasis perhaps on the help and assistance given to people who find themselves in these unfortunate positions. Some antisocial behaviour is deliberate, some antisocial behaviour is the result of circumstances. But I know that our officers and staff in particular are very sensitive to this. And I'd also say that enforcement needs to be across the borough and not just in West Bridgford. But we support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Councillor Cotty, did you reserve the right? No, you didn't. Very well. Councillor Inglis, you have the right to reply.
No, just to thank everyone for the support and continued support over this. It's important it goes through. Thank you.
So all those in favour? I think it's unanimous, isn't it? So I declare the vote carried. There were no abstentions or objections. There are no motions, which is most unusual. So we move to questions from councillors at item 10. Councillor Mallender, I believe you have a question to put.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's to Councillor Inglis. Many borough and district councils are pressing ahead with food waste collections services for their residents. Given that there's still no word from the government on a national scheme, isn't it time for Rushcliffe Borough Council to at least introduce a pilot scheme for this service?
Councillor Inglis.
Yes, thank you for your question, Councillor Mallender. And I think we're as frustrated as you are as officers, DEFRA and the Joint Waste Board in the delays. However, as Rushcliffe is the top recycling authority in the county, and we're very proud of delivering a quality waste service for our local residents. However, the council to unilaterally implement a food waste collection scheme, even as a pilot, would be premature, unwise and unaffordable. Alternatively, the council has been working on an externally funded joint project through Nottinghamshire Joint Waste Management Committee in looking at developing a model for how food waste can be collected and disposed of across Nottinghamshire, as it's vital this work is done as a system. This work will ensure that the council and indeed the whole county are in a very good place to implement a weekly food waste collection once the government confirm their requirements and funding arrangements for local authorities to deliver that service. And I understand from DEFRA that we're anticipating some announcement in the early new year. So fingers crossed that happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Inglis. Councillor Mallender, do you have a supplementary?
Yes, thank you. It was going to be, as it's the 1st of December, have you got the sprouts on yet? And what you do with the peelings. Yes, I welcome the news that people are getting ready to sort of deal with that across the whole of the county. But would you agree with me that one of the things that we can do as the parishes and in our local communities is look at some smaller community-based schemes? That would be enabling our residents, irrespective of any county-wide scheme, to work together on a community composting system, which I think that we could actually implement in Rushcliffe at a lower level than the county.
Yes, I do think that's a good idea. I said, as regards to the whole waste system for the whole county, then that's something that's got to be done as a whole. And I can't see any reason why communities can't get involved. I know we've got it on a couple of things where some people go out collecting stuff for the community. We've got abundant projects and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something to take forward. But we really need this direction from the government to where we're going and what receptacles we're going to be using, what resources, where that waste is going to be taken to, and what can be recycled. So yeah, it's something to take forward, and it's something I'd like to support.
Thank you, Councillor Manager and Councillor Inglis. I now invite Councillor Thomas to put her question to Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. How much unspent money in total is currently being held by Rushcliffe as contributions from housing and other developers via Section 106 and still? Thank you.
Right, so I have the up-to-date figures as of yesterday. For the community infrastructure levy, we have £2,787,853.69, of which 54,884 is committed or allocated. For Section 106, we're holding £39,476,585.23, of which 12.3 million is either committed or allocated.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. So that's over £40 million that Rushcliffe is holding that's not being spent. It does seem inevitable that infrastructure will to that extent lag behind development, but there comes a point where it's not acceptable. How is Rushcliffe encouraging partners like the County Council to spend the money to bring forward projects to provide these much needed facilities? Thank you.
Well, we had this debate yesterday at the Growth Board, and I sympathise. But building a new school for the County Council is quite a long-term project. The problem is, as you quite rightly say, infrastructure follows on slowly after development. I mean, I do know from our meeting yesterday that the economic team at Rushcliffe in the County Council forward some of their schemes that we're holding the money for, but an awful lot of this money is waiting for County Council development schemes. We can do what we can, but at the moment we're just the banker holding the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Thank you, Councillor Moore. Well, I think that has been the shortest meeting on record. Can I say before I do just that, can I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I am inviting you to join me for a glass of festive fizz in the extension of the Mayor's Parlour, and of course, as I said, you'll be able to see the proclamation which I've had framed and my portrait. So thank you.